side.
Once again, Chief Meteorologist George Lessons in the 13 on Your Side Weather Center. Hope to get back to General Hospital here in a moment, but I wanted to alert the folks in Ionia County of a possible strong to severe thunderstorm. The threat has increased. It is now a considerable threat from this severe thunderstorm, and there is a tornado possible. This is especially to the southeast of Clarksville, north of Lake Odessa. We have had some indications of rotation in that area, and there has been some confirmed damage from those storms as they have moved out of the Cascade Township area through north of Lowell. They've had several reports of hail as well, up to 1.5 inches just northeast of Clarksville. That's in Ionia County. Wind damage of trees, several large trees blocking roads in southeastern Kent County near Cascade, 36th Street and Thornapple Drive. So this is a dangerous storm, and to be sure. So again, there is indication of a tornado possible in the area of southern Ionia County. That is around the Lake Odessa area to just north of southeast of the Clarksville area, and that is where we are tracking a possible rotation inside that storm. You can see right in through here is where we are tracking the rotation. That is right here where the winds are swirling around just to the north of Lake Odessa, and this will continue to push off to the east at about 20 miles an hour. With every storm, there's the possibility of lightning strikes and heavy downpours, but right now we are tracking in this area the possibility of a wind strong enough that could create some downed trees and even possible some power lines. Going to zoom right on in. This is near Jordan Lake Road and Nash Highway south out of Clarksville. It's east of there, but moving off to the east at about 20 miles an hour. So it'll be approaching the areas south and west of Portland in the next several minutes, north of Sunfield as well. Once again, National Weather Service has issued that severe thunderstorm warning for Kent County as that storm moves through. So this is the time to take go to a place of safe shelter here in West Michigan. Keep an eye on the icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen and a crawl across the bottom for the very latest information. I do see that there is an additional severe thunderstorm warning before we sign off. This just came in. There is a considerable threat with this new severe thunderstorm warning that is just now printed. This is for portions of Berry County, southeastern, southern Ionia County, and this warning will remain in effect until 4 o'clock this evening. Let's read the National Weather Service statement as it's just printed off here. This is for folks in Ionia, Lake Odessa, over in the Portland and Saranac areas. The hazard with this could be golf ball size hail and winds up to 70 miles per hour. So again, you need to be heading to a place of safe shelter here immediately, or get your property inside where it cannot be damaged. And most importantly, you'll want to close your garage door. And there is torrential downpour being reported with this as well. So just be prepared for some flooding that may take place in a very short period of time. I'm going to take a look at the precipitation rates with this. This is right along and just southeast of the Saranac, east of the Clarksville area, and rain up to about 1 2/3 inches of rain per hour. So for you folks there in southern Ionia County, you need to be heading to a place of safe shelter and prepare to know where your pets and your children are at this hour. Once again, keep an eye on the icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen and a crawl across the bottom for the very latest weather information. I'm Chief Meteorologist George Lessons, live in the 13 on Your Side Weather Center.
This was a severe weather alert. Alert. You are watching 13 on your side.
Hello everyone, Chief Meteorologist George Lessons live in the 13 on your side Weather Center. We have a tornado warning that has been issued, so we're going to be doing continuous coverage until the threat has passed for folks in Barry County and also southeastern Ionia County. This with a tornado warning will be in effect until 3:45 this afternoon. This is a radar indicated tornado. No eyewitnesses yet, but the hazards with this are tornadoes and golf ball sized hail. We've already had reports of an inch and a half diameter hail in the Clarksville area. So the folks that need to be taking a safe shelter are those folks in the Lake Odessa area on over toward Portland and down into the Sunfield and Mulliken areas in our southeastern portion of our viewing area. We've been tracking this storm for the last half an hour or so, and it does have some rotation with it. You can see here, this is where the rotational tracks have been taking it from Cascade Township all the way down to north of Alto, down through Clarksville, where there's been some wind damage, and this continues to push off to the southeast. We'll be crossing M66, I should say, here in the next few minutes as this continues to push to the south and east. So once again, we've got that tornado warning for portions of southeastern Ionia County, northeastern Barry County until 3:45 this evening or this afternoon. This will be moving over mainly rural areas of these counties. That doesn't mean it will not impact you if you are in the path of this storm. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect, and this is for portions of Kent County right now. A lot of lightning with these storms. This is one of the other dangers with that, but that severe thunderstorm warning is for the Cedar Springs, Grattan area and Rockford until 3:45. This is a radar indicated severe thunderstorm. Again, this can produce a large hail up to 3/4 of an inch in diameter hail and gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour. So a number of warnings with these two distinct storm cells, one for Kent County and the one for Ionia County. Right now, we've been taking a look at some of the consumer energy outage maps. There is one non-thunderstorm related outage in the northwest side of Grand Rapids. That's why there's 33,000 folks without power in Kent County. But right now, not seeing any power outages associated with that wind in southern Ionia County, northern Barry County. But again, what you should be doing is just taking measure of what you should be doing at this time. So here are some severe weather safety tips. If you have a home with a basement, what you should be doing is seeking shelter in the center or northeastern part of your home. That is in the basement. Don't go under any heavy objects on the first floor. So a place to be with safe shelter would be under the stairway, a heavy table or a workbench. Cover yourself under mattresses or blankets, and certainly you'll want to avoid windows. For those folks that don't have a basement, just the lowest floor, again, the same things apply. Seek shelter in a bathroom or a closet. What you want to do is you'll want to avoid windows. Now, even though we're not under a watch, for those folks that are in mobile homes, the gusty winds like this can turn over a mobile home or at least tip them off their foundation very quickly. So if you have a way to get out before the storms come in your area, that'll be in southeastern Ionia County, seek shelter in a nearby community shelter. And if you can, you got some bicycle helmets, just take those with you just to protect your head. Other places, I know there were some folks camping up in Oceana County earlier this morning when a thunderstorm popped up there, trapped some folks in camper or a tent as some trees came down. If you can, and you know the storm is coming, don't hang out in your tents or your campers. Seek shelter in a nearby sturdy building. Just make sure you can get far enough away from any trees that may be falling on you. Other than that, we still have some pop-up thunderstorms here in West Michigan, but a lot of folks are just joining us, so we want to explain why we're on the air here. We have a tornado warning that was issued several minutes ago for portions of southeastern Ionia County and northeastern Barry County. The storm itself is just located to the northeast of Lake Odessa and has some indication of some rotation with it. This has had a history of producing some gusty winds, some large hail, and some wind damage, downing some trees and ultimately maybe some power lines. So this storm is only moving at about 20 miles an hour. So you'll have a couple of minutes to take shelter, especially in southeastern Ionia County. I'm going to zoom on in here to show you exactly where the storm is located, right along the highways there. As you can see, this is Musgrove Highway, Sunfield Highway, West Clarksville Road. That's M66 as that storm is rotating just to the east or just to the west of there, and it'll be passing through there. Radar takes a couple of minutes to update, so there's a possibility that it has already crossed over portions of M66. We're zoomed way in here. Let's put on the loop to show you where these storms have been coming from and where the most likely rotation is, right there north of Musgrove Highway, just about ready to cross M66, I believe. And that's going to be moving fairly quickly to the southeast, again about 20-25 miles per hour. This is the storm to be watching out for here this afternoon. Don't know if we have any updated reports coming in from our news center yet, but the rotation that we've been tracking is right in through here. This is where the rotation would be moving right across M66 right now, heading to the southeast. Folks in the Sunfield area, extreme southwest of Portland, south of Grand River Avenue, Kiefer Highway, those areas. It's moving right through the Sunfield Highway area right now. So if you are in those areas and watching us here on 13 on your side, that's the place. Those are the places that you need to be seeking a safe shelter. Did want to check one other place here in northern Kent County, northeast Kent County. This is north of Rockford. There's a very strong thunderstorm that is radar indicated. This has been severe storm warned. This warning will remain in effect until 3:45 this afternoon. It does affect the cities of Rockford and up toward the Grattan area. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to see if we have nothing other than heavy rain with this. Right now there is an indication that there is a little bit of an appendage showing up right here. I'm going to check to see if there's any rotation with that as well. Yes, a little bit of rotation. So again, this is the possibility in this area that there could be a storm that is producing damage at this point as that moves through. Again, in this part of the county, northern Kent County, northeastern Kent County, east of 131, that's north of M57. You should also be considering heading to a place of safe shelter. Make sure all your property is secured outside. Close those garage doors. Just get anything that might blow around secured at this point. No reports of any damage up in this area, but there is certainly the possibility. This is the same area north of Belmont that had the August 24 tornadoes last year. Don't want to scare anybody, but this is the type of storms that can produce that kind of rotation. And Elena has joined me here in the studio. Elena, I just wanted to point out that this area right here still has some circulation going on. This is right over the Rockford area. It's a broad circulation, nothing showing up that would indicate it's touching the ground. But this is also an area here, a populated area of Kent County that we need to keep an eye on. We're waiting any updates from the National Weather Service to see if there is anything of concern there at this time. The reason why we're staying on the air is this radar indicated tornado that is over southern Ionia County, heading into extreme northeastern Barry County and over toward the Portland area, Sunfield and Mulliken area. It will be in effect until 3:45. Maximum hail up to 1 3/4 inch diameter with some very heavy downpours as well, and a lot of lightning. Every storm has a lot of lightning with it. In this area alone, 40 positive and negative lightning strikes, the majority of them the negative lightning strikes. That's always a danger from any of these storms. Also, some very heavy downpours being reported with this. Rainfall rates up to about 1 3/4 inches to maybe as much as 2 inches per hour. As I look at that one, that is 1 2/3 inches of rain in a short period of time. So not only some dangerous lightning and some heavy downpours, maybe even leading to some flooding. I just got a report from the National Weather Service that there is some ponding of water. This is up in the Cedar Springs area. They're reporting the rain coming down such a heavy rate there that it's not being absorbed into the ground, and so that's one of the other hazards. Elena, I don't know if you have anything from the newsroom for me at all.
We're tracking some power outages right now. As of the moment, we don't have any reported power outages because of these storms. However, there is about 3,000 Consumers Energy customers on the west side of Grand Rapids that are out without power right now. That is due to a down power line, which is not necessarily weather related. But as of right now, we're just kind of keeping an eye on that. And as well as George is tracking all of this active movement through West Michigan right now, that tornado warning in Ionia County, as well as the severe thunderstorms here in Kent County. It looks like, as you mentioned, there's some pooling there in Cedar Springs area. We're taking a look at Rockford area too. Looks like there's some activity up there. But as of right now, we're still waiting for some reports to come in of any damage that you see. So if you have anything that you can take, any pictures, any video of what you're seeing, please do this safely. Do not go outside if you don't have to, if there's something happening in your neck of the woods right now. But if you are able to safely take some photos of any damage, winds, anything that you're seeing, you can just scan this QR code right here on your screen. That's going to go right over to George Salmon Blake, and George will be able to share that on air. You know, in situations like this is unfolding right now. This is something we're still learning updates about minute to minute here. So these updates from all of you at home can really help us tell this story to you and let you know where things are happening, what locations are safe. So right now we're still trying to figure that out at the moment. George has the very latest information on those warnings and watches and things like that. So please help us out sending in what you're seeing out there. And as of right now, once again, there's no power outages, but we're keeping an eye on that, George.
Yeah, the area of concern, of course, here in the more populated areas of Kent County are up to the northwest of Rockford. It is along 13 Mile Road, just to the east of 131, but this could contain some large hail as well. These storms have been popping up very quickly, and I'm going to take a little poll and look at where the storm is. This is near Myers Lake Avenue, where the tallest part of the storm, where the most intense part of that storm is. That is just near M57 and Shaner Avenue, just to the east of there. It looks like we have an update on the severe thunderstorm warning. They have upgraded this severe thunderstorm warning in this area to now include the threat of a possible tornado. So you can see that in the upper left. It's a radar indicated storm, a possible tornado. We've been talking about the rotation with this storm. It may have hail up to 1 inch in diameter and 60 miles per hour winds. Normally we would not stay on the air, but because there is the possibility of a tornado in this area, similar to last year, that we are going to monitor this storm the closest now over the next hour or so, or the next half hour or so, as this storm continues to develop and move through, it looks like right through the Rockford area right now. I'm going to get in a little bit closer. This is an easy way to look at where all of the rotational tracks are. And as you can see, it's moving from west northwest to east southeast, about 20 miles per hour. If you are along M57 up in the Rockford area, Myers Lake Avenue, heading over toward Ramsdale Drive, Lincoln Lake Road a little bit later on, this is the storm to be wary of. as this may be containing some rotation right in through here. This is where the strongest rotation is being shown up right on radar. Again, as Elena alluded to, ground truth reports are always welcome. And I see now that we do have a possible tornado warning, and that is, again, this is the same one for portions of southeastern Ionia County. As we watch this, it looks like it has been cleared for Barry County. That is the new update. I'm sure we'll be getting the crawl here very shortly at the bottom of your screen. Yes, the tornado warning for northeastern Barry County is canceled. The other one continues in effect until 3:45 or until the storm dissipates or does something different. The hazard with this storm is a tornado, which is radar indicated golf ball size hail, and it is radar indicated rotation. I wanted to see if where the rotational tracks have been. This has been steadily pushing from west-northwest to southeast-southeast near the Sunfield area right now. That is in that area with the warning, as we talked about. And we're going to take a look at perhaps some of the circulation with that. It's a very broad circulation. It's very hard to pick out. It would be right in through here. That's a very ill-defined rotation right in there. But nonetheless, the rotational tracks show that has been very consistent, hasn't been increasing, hasn't been decreasing. So there is a broad circulation that may translate down to the ground, could down some trees, some power lines, do some damage to homes. So that is the tornado warning that is associated with that particular rotation. For those of us just joining us, wanted to recap why we're staying on the air. It's for this tornado warning for southeastern Ionia County and points to the west of Lansing over toward the Grand Ledge area as it moves in that direction. We don't want to dismiss the storm up here in northern Kent County, which does contain a lot of lightning as well, but this is a tornado possible storm, and this is moving to through the Rockford area right now along M57. We'll be heading over toward the Grattan area, north of Grattan, and perhaps into the Greenville area. This warning remains in effect until 3:45, until it's either canceled or changes. So those are the places that you need to be heading to a place of safe shelter. Do we have any shelter tips for the folks, Elena, perhaps?
Well, of course, make sure you are in an interior building. If you're in one of these places like Ionia County with that tornado warning, you want to seek shelter somewhere most interior to your house. If you can avoid any windows, that's something that's really important, as well as making sure you're somewhere if you have a basement, that's a great option. If you don't, a bathroom is a great option. Finding somewhere you can go inside, and if you are driving, make sure you stop and you don't continue driving. That could be a dangerous situation. We're also monitoring some power outages. As of right now, we're not seeing any in these areas, but those could pop up if these storms continue. As George has been talking about, there's that tornado warning in Ionia County still, whereas the Barry County one has been cleared for the moment. He's still keeping an eye on this possible storm rotation, but if you're listening to this, as he mentioned, if you're watching us right now, if you're listening to this, get inside. If you're in one of these locations that could have potential for this storm rotation like you're seeing on the screen, so if you're up in the Rockford area, northern Kent County, seek some shelter indoors, somewhere safe, and in a basement if you have one, somewhere away from some windows. An internal bathroom sometimes a good spot too. So if you are somewhere that's outside, if you can hear this, get inside. That's probably the best tip right now, especially in this Rockford, northern Kent County area. You can see these arrows that George has just spinning on the screen too. It seems like we're really keeping an eye on this northern Kent County area, aren't we, George?
That is correct. Yes, we are keeping an eye on that one for sure. These are the same areas that had the possible rotation earlier this afternoon. And of course, this is in the area with the former tornado from last year. So we're a little sensitive in this region of Kent County because of the storm damage last year. It's a fairly broad rotation right now, so there is no confirmed tornado or anything like that. But there is the possibility, because it's showing up on radar, radar very, very well. And the radar can be fooled sometimes, but a lot of times it gives us a little intuition as to exactly where the rotation will be moving from and moving to. As you saw there, we have this way to show where the actual rotation is maximized right in through there. That's right through the Rockford area. It's heading to the east-southeast, just to the north of M44, just south of M57. The other area of rotation that we're staying on the air for is the one that's been moving across southwestern Ionia County, now heading into extreme southern and southeastern Ionia County, and that is where the tornado warning is in effect right now. That's the reason why we're staying on the air for our folks there. This is a radar indicated tornado warning for southeastern Ionia County until 3:45. As we mentioned, if it is safe to do so, we would love to hear your reports or get any pictures or videos. The best way to share those, if you have taken those already, is you can point your camera at that QR code and then follow the instructions on how to get it to us, or you could text the word storm to 616-559-1310, and that will pretty much get you the same information on how to upload your video and pictures, and that will help us verify how bad these storms may be. There may be a few folks that are just joining us, perhaps tuning into their 3:30 in the afternoon programming here on 13 on Your Side. We've been on the air since about 3 o'clock this afternoon for the fact that there is a tornado warning for portions of our viewing area. This is for southeastern Ionia County, down into Clinton and Eaton counties, including the cities of Grand Ledge and Sunfield, as it moves to the east of Lake Ovessa and just over Portland. The strongest part of the storm that we are tracking, though, is right at the point of that arrow where there has been indication of some rotation. May not be reaching the ground, but it certainly looks that way on the radar, and this is the rotational tracks as they've been moving east to southeast. So if you're in the Sunfield area, the storm is on top of you. You should have already headed to a place of safe shelter. Had some new information that just printed off for me. I'm going to take a look at this here. This is north of Rockford, back up into the storm-warned area of northern Kent County. Some nickel-sized hail have been reported. That is in the Rockford area. This is by a trained spotter, nickel to dime-sized hail, just 2 miles north of Rockford with that rotation. Wanted to take a look at that right here. That's where the broad rotation has been pushing through from Myers Lake Avenue down to 10 Mile Road, heading over toward Ramsdale Drive, just to the north of M44, south of M57, so folks, you are familiar with that, around the Myers Lake area, north of Cannonsburg Road. This is northeast of Belmont, but nonetheless, it's also putting down quite a bit of rain, quite a bit of lightning from time to time as well. So those are one of the other hazards with any of these storms. If you're driving, it is tough to see. These are the kinds of areas where you have to pull over because it is raining so intently. We're almost at the top of our scale here. This is a very bright white color. This is raining at the rate of about 2 3/4 inches an hour. These are moving very, very slowly, Elena, very slowly. So these could quickly overwhelm the culverts and the drains, along with, the dangerous lightning strikes as well. These are all the hazards that come with a thunderstorm. So just keep in mind as you are out and watching these storms, these positive lightning strikes can strike up to 10 miles away from the parent storm. So they may look good in the distance or the very close near distance, but we usually can get that bolt from the blue, and then that's where we get the reports of injuries and fatalities. I just want to recap for those of the folks that are just joining us. We have that tornado warning in effect for southeastern Ionia County until 3:45, unless we get other information, and we're going to stay on the air until that happens. That's about another 14 minutes or so. Any new information from the newsroom, perhaps?
Well, let's take a look at the airport right now. This is the Gerald R. Ford International Airport, where you can see the dark skies there in the Cascade area, as well as getting some reports from the National Weather Service posted in Grand Rapids, posted on Facebook, saying there was getting reports of the cell-producing hail that's up to near golf ball size, showing those potential signs of rotation that George has been talking about. So you might be seeing some hail out there as well. Let's also take a look, if we can, of the Walker Tower camera that's looking toward Rockford. You can see again those dark skies. This is what George has been talking about, that the northern Kent County region seeing that potential for storm rotation. It's something you should be inside for at the moment. If you aren't as of yet, you should absolutely be inside. And keep in mind, one of the safe locations for you, if possible, is to go to a basement if you have one. One of the safest places, even though there's no completely safe place during a tornado or severe weather like this. But a basement is great advice. Also, an inside room. Look out for any windows, and if it's possible, on the lowest floor. So don't go to an upper, second, third floor building, room in your house, I should say. Shelter in a room without any windows at a point would be possible. And also, if you're for added protection, go under something sturdy. If this is really picking up in your area, it couldn't be something that would do any damage. Is to get protection under something sturdy, protect your head with anything available. And if you are in a mobile home, do not stay in that. Those could get some damage as well. So make sure you're finding somewhere that's in a safe, secure location. If you're in one of these areas looking at this northern Kent County and Ionia County, this is what we're watching, and George has been talking about that tornado warning in Ionia County that is still continued on, that we're seeing reports from the National Weather Service of hail being produced from this cell up to near golf ball size. Also, once again, if you are safely able to do so, please take some pictures of that. But if it's actively coming down, don't put yourself in any danger at this point. But if you're able and you have any pictures that you can share with us, any video that can help us show people what's happening where they are and what needs to be shared so everyone can stay safe out there. Once again, this view from the airport, Gerald R. Ford International Airport in the Cascade area, dark skies. Look at those clouds. This is something, George, it's these events here in the summer where, it's been hot, it's been humid. Is that what's been contributing to this at the moment?
It certainly doesn't hurt,
yeah.
Because there's so much available fuel, and that's the heat and the humidity. The higher the temperature, of course, the taller the storms can get. The higher the storms can get, the more potential that the tops of those storms can get into below freezing air. We can then start to create large balls of ice, and that's where we start to get the large hail that does some damage. And all that air that goes up in the sky has weight, and then when it runs out of the heat, there's still all this air that has weight or mass, and once it collapses, the thunderstorm, all of that weight comes falling down out of the thunderstorm. The thunderstorm updrafts, and then the downdrafts come down, and then we get the downburst kind of winds, or the winds that blow out ahead of the storms. And sometimes that can be as destructive, if not more destructive, than a tornado. So we've had a couple of instances of those overnight up in Oceana County last night, very early in the morning. There was one of those downburst storms that knocked down a tree, that trapped some campers there. These are the types of storms that can cause power outages in a very, very narrow, limited space. So yes, the heat and humidity does contribute to how tall those storms get and how far those storms will fall and come down and hit the ground. We just got another report up in the northern Kent County area. This one is a storm report with some possible damage. It hasn't actually hit the wind gust area yet. But I noticed, Elena, that we have another severe thunderstorm warning, or an update coming with the one there in northern Kent County. It looks like, if I read the statement correct as it comes off, this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for northeastern Kent County. You'll notice here that it is not indicating a rotation within this storm. It did appear that way in the last couple of radar updates, and I'll show you why. There's not a lot of red on the radar. There is a lot of green, which means the air is coming toward the radar. That's what the inbound toward the radar is, but there's really not any other rotation in that area. That's where the parent storm is. So it's just air coming into the thunderstorm and going straight up. It is not swirling down at the bottom. So they took the tornado tornado possible tag out of the severe thunderstorm warning. So that is why it is now just a radar indicated storm for Kent County. I'm starting to breathe a little sigh of relief for the areas of northern Kent County just because of the lower threat for a tornado. That doesn't mean we won't get those gusty winds. It's just not showing up that way on the radar. What we can confirm in northern Kent County is there has been some large hail and some damaging winds as well there. So yeah, this is a possibility of seeing more nickel-size hail, perhaps some golf ball size hail as well with this storm, and also the possibility of some winds. You can see there's a wind gust that was just reported in the city of Rockford, perhaps by one of the weather stations, to 62 miles per hour. So that does verify the severe thunderstorm warning. And that is enough to create quite a bit of damage. So again, close your garage doors, make sure any of those yard waste cans that you might have out, patio furniture that you can kind of sneak into the corner of a patio, that would certainly be the way to do things at this point. I do have another message that came from the National Weather Service here just moments ago regarding this tornado warning. The tornado warning in this area for southeastern Ionia County, in the areas over in Clinton and northeastern Eaton counties, the threat is diminished and the tornado warning is now canceled. So the threat for damaging winds in this area are still high, but the threat for a tornado now has diminished. And looking at the radar loop, you can see that that has gone from the dark blue colors to just gray. So it looks like the rotation with that is diminishing. So once again, all of the warnings are still active, but the threat is starting to come down just a little bit. And I think unless we see some more damage or hear of some more power outages up here in northern Kent County, I think we're just going to allow these warnings to run their course, and we'll be monitoring here throughout the rest of the afternoon. So any one of these pop-up storms, especially away from the lakeshore, could pop up at any instance, could create some gusty winds, could create some damage down some trees, some power lines. It's just something to be aware of here this afternoon. I don't want to stay on any longer than we have to, but I think we still need to monitor the situation throughout the afternoon. The best way you can do that is with social media. Follow us on Facebook and X. And again, you can post your pictures and videos by texting us or scanning a QR code that I'm putting up here in just a minute. So text the word storm to 616-559-1300, of course, right under the screen here. And we will verify what we have seen so far and put all of the information online on our Facebook page and other platforms, and or on the 13 on your side here at 5 o'clock, which is what we will be coming up here in about an hour and a half or so. I do not have any new information, Elena, so we're going to hopefully sign off here. I noticed that the severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Berry County has been canceled, but the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Clinton County and northwestern Eaton County. Those are all moving over toward the Lansing area and kind of out of our viewing area. And so just keep monitoring the skies and watch us here on 13 on your side the rest of the afternoon. Elena, thanks for helping out here in the studio here this afternoon. And I'm Chief Meteorologist George Lessons, live in the 13 on your side Weather Center.
This was a
in Kent County, that is where the actual warning is. So if you're not in the Grattan area, you do not have to worry about the tornado warning. So the tornado warning is for a specific area of Kent County, east central Kent County into northwestern Ionia County. This will be affecting the areas north of M44 near the Grattan area for the possibility of a tornado. There is radar indicated rotation inside of this storm, and we can see that coming up with the rotation that is moving through that area, and that's the reason why the tornado warning was issued. There is the actual rotation. It really has not moved a whole lot in the last half an hour or so. It has maintained its rotation as it's moved from the Rockford area now down toward the Grattan region. And I'm going to take the rotation from earlier. Yeah, this rotation is increasing right in through here. This is very near the Grattan area. I'm getting a little concerned for the folks right here. This is the reason why the tornado warning has been, tornado sirens are going off. This is only for folks in the Grattan area. So if you're anywhere else inside of Kent County, you can disregard the tornado warnings. They are sounded area-wide, Kent County-wide. Unfortunately, they can't single out tornado sirens for just individual locations. This is near Wabasis Lake, Wabasis Avenue, around M44 and Lincoln Lake. You need to be below ground now or in a place of safe shelter. We were on earlier this afternoon with severe thunderstorm warnings with possible tornadoes, and that was the signal of the time for you to go to a place of safe shelter. And Elena, do you want to read off some of the things that are on the screen there for us?
Yeah, so if you're in that Grattan area that George just mentioned, you should be inside, get to a lower level. A basement is preferable if you have one. An inside room without windows on the lower level. If you don't be on an upper level floor at this time. If possible, avoid a room that has windows. If you have one, like a bathroom maybe on the inside of the house, that's a great spot. Also, if you have need of extra protection, get under something sturdy. Protect your head with anything that you see available. And do not stay in a mobile home in this area at this time, in the Grattan area. Get somewhere with a lower level, a basement, and an indoor room without any windows is the safest place to be right now in that Grattan area. George, you were just talking about it's near the Wabasis Lake and Lincoln Lake. Get below ground now. George, as you mentioned, this is an area-wide tornado signs. We're hearing them here outside of the TV station here in Walker, hearing the rain as well. But this is not the area, if you're hearing those, where we are on this side of the county, but it's toward that Grattan area, that east central Kent County, north of M44 near Grattan.
Absolutely. We had a similar situation here several weeks ago where there was a very small tip of Kent County that was inside of what we call the polygon or the warning. And of course, the way the system is set up, that if it's any part of Kent County, all of the sirens go off for the entire county, which was the case today. But the tornado is not affecting the entire county. The only area of concern for folks that are watching us or hearing the tornado sirens just turning on their TV is near the Grattan area. So the rest of Kent County, you're okay, at least as far as the tornado warning goes. This is the area right along M44. It's east of Wabasis Avenue and moving toward the Lincoln Lake area. It does take a couple of minutes for the radar information to update. And so this has been moving to the east at about 15 miles an hour. So it is not moving very fast. So the next radar update may put it very close to Lincoln Lake Road, approaching Montcalm Avenue, which is right along the county line there between Montcalm County and Kent County. But for folks in the Grattan area, you should have already taken the advice and gone to a different location. If you're in a mobile home, or if you're in a camper or a tent, you should be also in a different location, a sturdier building, lowest part of your building. So this is the other information that has come out within the last couple of minutes. Wanted to alert the folks up in portions of southwestern Mecosta County. This is also northwestern Montcalm County and eastern Newaygo County. For about the next hour or so, this slow-moving storm could also produce some winds up to 60 miles per hour or quarter-size hail. So in the impact areas, this will be in Big Rapids a little bit later on, Stanwood a little bit earlier, Morley, You need to protect your property, close your garage doors, get anything that blows around secured, know where your kids and pets are so you can get them into a place of safe shelter. I don't know if we have any updates in northern Kent County around the Grattan area in terms of eyewitnesses or any power outages there. All right, I think we are going to go to Nathan, who is live in the Weather Chaser. Nathan?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're seeing we're headed towards the tornado area right now, Belling and Wabassis. Currently, you can see the rain isn't coming down not too strong, but earlier on 131, a little bit north of here. It was really coming down. I was having a hard time even hearing myself in the car, but we're currently on our way towards that tornado area right now. Again, great tips: get into a room without any windows, get something sturdy to protect yourself. But yes, that rain was really coming down. The highway was getting backed up. Now we're headed over towards that tornado area. We'll keep you updated. We'll make sure to keep a camera on that so that once we do get there, we'll keep you updated on the situation.
Nathan, thank you. And we do want to remind people that Nathan is not the one doing the driving right now. He is paired off with an amazing photojournalist, and they are heading toward the Grattan area where that tornado warning is in the east central part of Kent County, north of M44 near the Grattan area, that possibility of a tornado there. George has been talking about the radar indicated rotation. You will be hearing, you have heard those sirens, those tornado sirens across Kent County, but that's because they are tornado or area-wide sirens, so they're not isolated to just a specific point, but this is the only area that we're talking about has that possibility for a tornado that's approaching Montcalm area, the line between Kent and Montcalm area. Heading toward Lincoln Lake, George, you said. Is that correct? Is it still heading in that direction?
That is correct. You saw here while you were talking, Elena, that the radar takes about every 2 or 3 minutes to update. It has moved in the vicinity of M44 and Lincoln Lake Avenue. Know that intersection very well. Part of my, what do you want to call it, my hometown area north of Lowell. Moving pretty much right along M44 heading toward Montcalm Avenue. It takes a couple of minutes for the radar to update. So I imagine it has moved a little bit closer to Montcalm Avenue along M44. That is where the heaviest downpours are occurring. I see that the Weather Chaser is still out looking at these storms and looking for any storm damage. I don't want you to do that if you are at home and in the warned area. You should be in a place of safe shelter until the actual storm passes. This is not a time to be going out and shooting video or looking for actually where it is. There's a lot of folks that may just still be joining us, turning the radio, the TV on right now. We are tracking the possibility of a tornado that is in north and eastern Kent County. The radar sirens have just gone off once again, indicating throughout the county that there's a tornado. Well, that is actually up near the Grattan area, so you can disregard that for the rest of the county as that storm moves through there. This is the rotational track. It originally started up around the Rockford area. We did not get any reports, Elena, of power outages or at least immediately any downed power lines or trees. That doesn't mean that we haven't, but this storm has re-intensified as it's moving north of Grattan near the M44 and Lincoln Lake Avenue, heading over toward the county line west of Belding. You were going to say something there, Elena?
There's a few power outages north of northeast of Rockford area, near the Sheffield area, up in kind of east of Cedar Springs. We've got about 100 people without power in that area, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. But right now we're really focused on that Grattan area as this possible rotation heads toward the Montcalm County line. And once again, you're hearing those tornado sirens likely outside. We're hearing them here in the studio. That is not for where you are if you are not in that north central Kent County location. That is for the Grattan area right now. So if you're hearing that, that's why. Correct, George?
That is correct. Absolutely. We're very sensitive about the storms in this part of the county, this part of western Michigan, because we had the August 24 storms from last year. So folks are a little on the nervous side whenever we get some kind of tornado warning for the county. This is for the Grattan area. We have not had any ground truth with this, but the radar is indicating that inside those storms, there is the possibility of a tornado. At least we're seeing it rotationally wise. Once again, heading toward the Montcalm Avenue, and that's because of this rather strong storm that's also produced some hail up to 1.5 inches in diameter. So we're going to stay on the air until this particular storm either falls apart or it gets updated or it gets downgraded and we don't see any damage, but right now you need to be headed to your safe space. I don't know if we have any more tower cams we can take a look at of the storms that are in that vicinity. We've got, this is our Walker Tower cam. You can see a little bit of rain. That's a good rain shadow. I don't see any lowering of the cloud base that might indicate nothing that's below the cloud base there. And that's from our downtown camera looking up the river toward the Rockford area. Yes, some darkening skies there. To the right, there's a lot of rain coming down. To the left, that's called the rain-free base, and that's where I would be looking for any possibility of lowering of the cloud base where there might be a tornado showing up there. But right now I'm not seeing that. It's only a broad rotation. But in our part of the country, a lot of times the storms themselves get wrapped up in that rain. That's very hard to see. It looks like just one big cloud on the ground. And because we're looking from the airport tower cam to the north by about 10, maybe 12 miles, it looks like the cloud is actually on the ground. Actually, the cloud is down below the horizon, so we're not seeing where that might be touching the ground there. But again, for those folks that have been hearing the tornado sirens, this is for a radar indicated severe thunderstorm, perhaps containing a tornado. This is our Walker Tower cam showing where that may be occurring. I'm going to take a look at the latest rotation to see if that is updated. Still looking whether or not I don't see that updated. I'm looking at one of our other radar tools that is showing pretty much the same thing, rotation right along the county line just to the east of Grattan, just about ready to cross over Montcalm Avenue into northwestern Ionia County, west of the Belding area, west of Smyrna. So if you're in these areas, that's where you need to head to a place of safe shelter. Do we have any indication where Nathan might be at the present time out in the Weather Chaser? What is his location?
Well, it looks like he certainly has some rain coming down pretty heavily based off this windshield. He's on West River right now, heading toward Belding. As you mentioned, seeing in those tower cameras and on your radar, George, that rain is coming down pretty heavy in this area. Can we talk to Nathan? Can we talk to him about what he's seeing right there? Is that something we can do? 13 on your side's Nathan Lee.
Yes, you can, and certainly it has picked up here. I mean, just a couple of minutes ago, it was a little bit clear, you know, only slight rain coming down, but now it's really hammering on the windshield. Like you said, we're on West River, headed towards the area, and certainly it's gotten darker since we started driving here. So I'd be cautious if you're driving in this area. Obviously, we are in the 13 on your side storm chaser, but the rain is really coming down. You can see the roads are coated with water here. Those gutters have rushing water on either side, and there's still a whole lot of cars on the road, which is slowing things down. So remember to stay safe. We're still headed towards that tornado area. We'll keep you updated, continue keeping you updated once we get there. Thank you.
Nathan Lee, thank you. And once again, he is not the one driving. There is a driver in the seat. He's riding as a passenger heading toward the Belding area to check out the conditions in that area, seeing lots of rain as we're keeping an eye on the Grattan area on the east side of Kent County, where there is a possible radar indicated rotation. George, what are we seeing?
I'm just getting new information out of the National Weather Service. The tornado warning that was in effect has been canceled. That is good news. The threat of a tornado seems to have diminished a little bit. Nonetheless, The severe thunderstorm warning for that particular storm remains in effect until 4:30, which is in about 16 minutes or so for that same storm. The threat of a tornado is still there. It's just not as widely indicated. It seems to showing up on the radar not to show the signs that it could be reaching the ground. We saw that from our tower cams as well. We're not seeing any lowering of the cloud base. We don't see anything coming out of the bottom of the clouds there. If we can go to the Walker tower cam, we'll be able to see that. Yes, you can see the lowering of the clouds. You can see some of those detached darker clouds down at the bottom. Those are not attached to the storm system itself, so these are what we call scud clouds. These are not tornadoes. They don't appear. That's just a big rain shadow underneath that. It may also contain some hail. So the good news, Elena, right now we're not seeing the rotation that we did earlier. This is an update to the rotation. If you recall earlier, this was over toward the Grattan area and Lincoln Lake and M44, Wabassis Lake area. It is now moving into northwestern Ionia County. This is still along M44, south of Fisk Road, north of Button Road. We all know where those are, or Miriam Road. So if you're in the Belding area, you should already have put all your plans into place, get to a place of safe shelter, close those garage doors, secure all your personal property, make sure you know where your kids are, your pets, and those kinds of things to keep everyone safe. You've got several minutes of warning here, but right now there is no tornado warning for northeastern Kent County. That has been canceled. We have just the severe thunderstorm warning in effect in those areas. Also, for the folks in southwestern Mecosta County and northern Montcalm County. It's now passed to the north of Howard City. I'm sure there was many folks that have gotten a lot of heavy rain, maybe even some hail there up through the Amble region. It is raining very heavily. Maybe some gusty winds around Morley, heading up into the Stanwood. This area is moving pretty much northeast at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But this is the storm that we've been tracking. Still a severe thunderstorm warning for a small portion of eastern Kent County around the Grattan area and northwestern Ionia County as that storm continues to pummel those areas on all the way up to the Greenville region. I don't know if we have anything new to pass along. I love it when I get new information here. This is the new severe thunderstorm warning that has just come out. It looks like it's an update to the warning that we just talked about. Going to take a look at what's going on inside this particular storm. The National Weather Service continues this severe thunderstorm warning, but now it's been upgraded to a considerable threat for those storms as it moves from the south. It's moving north at 20 miles an hour, according to the National Weather Service. Already hitting the Morley area very hard. Be heading up toward the Big Rapids, Stanwood, Canadian Lakes area, where we've had some storms earlier this year, and eventually up into Rodney. So this is the threat from this is up to 1 3/4 inch diameter hail and winds possibly up to 70 miles per hour. It looks like for the most part, the folks in the very eastern Newaygo County, you may not be seeing any more from this storm. It looks like the majority is moving just now into southwestern Mecosta County. I don't know if we have any updates from Nathan or perhaps some storm-related power outages. Elena, anything?
Yeah, we're still keeping an eye on some of these power outages on the northeast side of Kent County, looking north of about Sheffield area. Further away, kind of to the east of Cedar Springs there, quite a few power outages in that area. That's where we saw a lot of those thunderstorms about an hour ago, so that's due to that at this time, but not a lot elsewhere in the county. A small section here, a bit fewer than 100 customers affected near the Boswick Lake area, just a little bit north of that. We're also taking a look. We've got a couple crews out on the road right now. We've got Nathan Lee, 13 on your side's Nathan Lee, looking here. He's on Northland Drive or West River Drive, heading toward the Belding area where he's seeing some heavy rain. in that area. We also have a crew that's heading out to the Wabassis camp area, checking on some reports of possibly something happening there. So we'll keep you updated on that throughout the evening. Make sure you're staying with us to get any of those updates about what these crews are seeing live out in the field. We'll have that coming up for you whenever we learn some more. Also want to just put an extra shout out there to, if you have any pictures or videos, make sure you're sending that to us. We can use these as a great tool to get information from out in the field of what is happening. Of course, if there's active weather where you are, make sure you're indoors and you're not going outside to take any pictures, putting yourself in any danger, but anything can help share what's happening in the region based off where you are by helping to send in some of those pictures. I know we've had some reports of hail. Some folks have sent in some photos of that hail in different areas across West Michigan. So that is really, really helpful to do. You can text 616-559-1310. We also have a QR code that you can put up. George, do we have that QR code that we can put on the screen for people to send some photos?
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. You can text the word storm also to 616-559-1310 to get the instructions on how to do that as well. Now, we've had a couple of folks talk to us about why we're cutting in and staying on for what just seems to be just heavy rain. Well, we've already had reports of some damage in some areas around the Grattan area. There's also the possibility of that camp there. The reason why we're on is because not everyone can sit in their living room in air conditioning and watch their game show or Judge Judy because they need to be going somewhere to protect their family and their property. So this is the reason why we stay on the air, because they may not know they are in the damage path, or at least in the danger path. So again, this is why we stay on the air, to protect our viewers from the weather. And hopefully you might learn something also from what we're talking about, and perhaps may use the safety tips we're putting out there right now. So when the storm does affect you, you know what to do instead of complaining about being on the air. So again, this is the reason why we stay on the air. And of course, we love to have your photos and or videos sent to us as well.
We do have a damage report out of Cascade and
Trees down in the Cascade area.
Yes.
Those were from around about 1:40 this afternoon with the
okay.
first storms that came on through.
Okay.
And so that is those storms that are have now moved over into portions of the Grand Ledge area. Right now, the storms in question are still in northwestern portions of Ionia County. We got a lot of information, a lot of people in my ear, a lot of people talking to me right now, just trying to sort all this information out. A lot coming out at us. That's the storm that is moving up into southern Mecosta County. That could be threatening folks there as well. Got a lot of campers out this time of year. A lot of people at some of the lakes enjoying themselves. They're looking on the horizon going, is that a storm I should be concerned about? You should be concerned about all storms, but yes, this is a view of one of the storms. This is from our airport tower cam looking north up toward the storms into the north. The farther away the storms are, it looks like the storms are on the ground. That's because the earth curves, and so it looks like the storm is actually on the ground when it is actually several thousand feet above the ground. The other storms that we're talking about are in northeastern Kent County, and that's a view from our Walker tower cam. The storms are still producing some very heavy downpours, perhaps some large hail, and of course those gusty winds, perhaps up to 60 miles an hour. It looks like the heaviest storms are now affecting the Greenville and Belding areas. And as we are driving toward those storms and looking at those storms, and this is our storm chaser, looks like they're heading to the east on Belding Road. So yes, heavy downpours. Again, the person Nathan, who is doing the navigating, is not doing the video. That is being driven by one of our photojournalists. So heading to those locations to see whether or not anyone has been injured or hurt from this or any kind of damage. Elena, you want to comment at all?
You know, we've had a lot of viewers texting us in the last hour or so about wondering why they heard the tornado sirens across Kent County, especially, you know, we heard them here at our station in Walker, you know, close to the Grand Rapids area, where this wasn't the concern for that tornado warning, but those sirens are issued on a area-wide basis. So this was the concern near the Grattan Belding area for that possible tornado tornado, which is now, that warning has been canceled. But here's the thing, they are going to go all across the county so everyone knows to stay safe. But that's why you need to tune in and check to see where this location specifically is. When you hear those tornado sirens, they're really for the people who are outside and not access to maybe some of these things to figure out what's going on. This is an image from Belding right now where you can see there quite a dark clouds, heavy rain, as we've been seeing from our photojournalist and our reporter Nathan Lee in the weather chaser there. Quite a bit of rain in that location. We've also had some reports of hail. Looks like their camera might be a little bit frozen there, but there we go. They're on Belding heading eastbound. So in that area, still some heavy rain. And if you're getting any reports of hail, please send it in so we can relay that to you guys. We also have another crew heading toward the Wabassis camp location where there could be some reports of damage. We're waiting to see what comes out of that. So stay with us. At this time, do we still have any of these warnings to look out for right now, George?
No updates for the Weather Service. I'm sure they're just as busy as we are, if not more. So the warning is still for the Grattan area, but the bulk of the storm appears to be south of M57, north of M44, approaching the Montcalm County, Ionia County line. Probably raining very, very heavily in the Greenville area, southwest of Greenville up to the northwest of Belding. Lots of lightning with the storm, perhaps even some hail as well. The inside of the storm is showing hail capable up to 1.5 inches in diameter. Right now, this is where the highest hail potential is, right in through there to the southeast of Greenville, north of Belding. Not an indication of the size of the hail, but certainly the potential for hail there. Again, it's the rotation that we've been tracking. That's the reason why they've had severe thunderstorm warnings with tornado possible, and then a tornado warning, which was canceled, but the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for those areas. So at any time, this storm can re-intensify, just like the one moving up into southwestern Mecosta County. This one can build up very quickly in the heat of the afternoon and early evening. There is a considerable threat tag associated with this storm. It is now moving north of Morley, heading up towards Stanwood, and the radar is updating every 2 or 3 minutes, so this may have moved, a few miles further north, so it could also be up in the Stanwood area and Canadian Lakes area. And this has had a history of producing at least heavy downpours and some moderately sized hail, enough to perhaps ding your car up a little bit. So in these areas, southwestern Mecosta County, should be protecting your property. Maybe get your car or your SUV under cover. Bring in those sensitive things outdoors that can be blown around, or at least secure them. Quickly throw them up into the vehicle, or throw them into the garage. Not throw them into the garage, but just get them into the garage. Secure your patio furniture. More importantly, know where your kids are and your pets. Make sure they're protected from the storms. This looks like some flooding here in Rockford. Lena, you can talk about this.
This is some flooding that we're seeing here in the Rockford area. We've got a crew heading there to check it out too. It looks like this vehicle is fairly well submerged in this road. Just a reminder, if you're seeing flooding on the street anywhere you're going, do not drive into it. You don't know how deep it is. There could be a large pothole or just a lower setting of a road there. So do not drive through any flooding that you're seeing. Keep that in mind. We've also had some video or picture of, that was at 14 Mile and Ritchie in Rockford of that flooding. This is a look at the Walker camera. This is downtown facing north toward the Rockford area, the northern Kent County area, where you can still see some heavy clouds, some rain off in the distance. Looks like things, as we mentioned, are moving to that northeast area here. Some more flooding pictures being sent in. Thank you guys so much for sending in these pictures. They're really helping us tell the story of what's happening across West Michigan right now. What location is this? Do we know what location this photo of this flooding is? This is Rockford near 14 Mile, up in that area. Some more flooding. You can see it covering the road there. Once again, do not drive through any flooding. You don't want to be in a situation you can't get out of. It's very dangerous when you don't know how deep the water is covering the road. Another look at downtown and those heavy clouds as you take a look north from our downtown camera. Looks like there is quite a bit here. Okay, and now we've got this live look from our weather chaser. This is on Wabassis Lake Road here. Let's head on over to 13 on Your Side's Nathan Lee to let us know what he's seeing in that area as he's riding with the driver. Nathan.
It's the campground, but you can see this rain is still coming. It has been for the past 10 minutes. And I'd like to say these storms caught a lot of people by surprise, believe it or not. We saw a motorcycle on the highway. This is definitely not the weather that you want to be riding a motorcycle in. But yes, we're headed north now on Wabassis Avenue here, headed toward that campground. We will make sure to keep you updated on if we see any damages while we're going there. And we'll make sure to keep you updated if the storm develops in any way. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Nathan Lee. Once again, in a passenger watching what's happening out there. Heavy rain on Wabassis. Checking on that area. We also have another crew checking the camp area there for any possible reports of any damage, as well as a crew heading toward the Rockford area where we're getting some reports of flooding, especially around 14 Mile. We've had some pictures that you guys have been sending us in. 14 Mile, Ritchie and Rockford, some heavy flooding. This is a look north from our downtown tower camera where they still have those heavy clouds there. Another reminder, do not be driving through those the floods covering the roads. You don't know how deep it is and you could get stuck in your vehicle or in a pretty dangerous situation. So if you're seeing that flooding, avoid it if you can. This is a look at Walker facing east where things, still pretty dark skies out there, George.
Absolutely. These are for our folks in northeastern Kent County, a lot of folks here in downtown Grand Rapids, other areas. What's the fuss? We've got maybe even a little bit of sunshine out there, but we have quite a bit of flooding rains. We've had some large hail in this part of the county, had some trees and power lines down earlier this afternoon in southeastern Kent County, but the storms in question are moving now out of the Kent County and northwestern Ionia County area. And in fact, the severe thunderstorm warning associated with that has now been canceled. So that is good news. That is this particular area where we had zoomed in on. This was the area of concern for the rotation as well. As the storms have now moved out of this region, the warnings have now been canceled, which is the good news. So even though we still have the threat of storms here in west Michigan yet this afternoon and this evening, you'll want to stay aware of your surroundings, aware of where all of your family members are located, just in case there are more storms that pop up here this afternoon and this evening. But right now, the severe weather threat is starting to wane a little bit here in Grand Rapids, Ionia, and the Belding area on up toward Greenville. The storm's still ongoing as they head up into the Big Rapids area, but those two are starting to move into areas that are on the northeastern part of our viewing area. And once the heat of the day starts to go away, I think our threat of storms will start to diminish. So unless we have new reports coming in, unless we have more verification of damage that's coming our way, I think that we are going to wrap up our coverage here and set ourselves for updates coming up here on 13 on Your Side at 5 o'clock. Lena, anything else to add before we wrap things up? Another pitch to send us the pictures and any video that you have that you are able to safely take. I know we're getting a lot of reporting from flooding from the Rockford area, especially one in a retirement community near 14 Mile. So if you were able to share with that, once again, don't drive through it. Make sure you're not going through any water that you don't know how deep it is. That's pretty dangerous. And George, we're keeping an eye on this for this evening. We hope so. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to reset. We'll be back with you. In the meantime, the way you can stay updated is, of course, with social media. We'll just look at our Facebook page and our Twitter feeds and share those photos and videos with us that we've been sharing the information with you throughout the afternoon into the early evening. Continue to watch the icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Crawl across the bottom. You'll get the very latest weather information. Of course, we'll break in if there is any threat to life or property. So once again, thanks for staying with us here this afternoon. This evening, we'll see you at 5 o'clock.
This
News.